Hey, what's up, guys? This is T-Bone here. So in today's episode, what I want to do is talk about the changes that were announced in today's newsfeed for the game Legendary Game of Heroes. Now, there's a lot of changes, probably one of the biggest changes I've seen in a long time for the game, and I wanted to go through them and also talk about my reactions and thoughts about this. I would like to talk about sort of what this means for the player base and what it means for us moving forward. So let's get started. We'll take a look at the newsfeed. It is pretty long here, but I think reading through it will be useful here. So the Dark Knight. Tainted ultimate heroes are running rampant, destroying everything from peasant hovels to royal castles, and we fear they will soon overrun all of Corellis. Life as we know it has turned upside down, and a deep darkness has descended over the land. Corellis is being broken and remade, and here's what's coming as it is birthed anew in the upcoming New Dawn season. So we know that the New Dawn season is actually going to begin at the start of next week, because this is the last event for this particular season. So these changes are going to come live after this event's over. So what are the changes? Well, it starts here at a call to arms. We've always wanted deck building to be fun, and for each card earned to feel meaningful. Having to earn 6 ultra rare and master heroes just to build a full deck doesn't do that. So the Ultimate Collection will be switched up during the New Dawn season. You'll need to collect just one of each event hero in order to directly forge an Ultimate Hero at 6 stars. We also wanted each piece of the Ultimate Collection to give you meaningful progress, and each event hero to serve a unique deck building role. The Master Hero did not fit into this vision, so it will no longer be included in weekly events moving forward. Historical heroes will still be needed to complete your event collection, and we hope this creates even more value for them. Note that this collection system will only allow you to earn ultimate heroes and relics when their specific event is live that week, so make sure you log on to grab your favorites before they disappear. Okay. So this is probably one of the biggest changes that they've announced, and that is number one. All of our ultimate heroes moving forward are going to be at 6 stars compared to 1 stars when we forged them. If you remember correctly, a 1-star ultimate hero gives you a 400% damage boost. And it goes by 200 after that. And so it's 400, 600, 800, then 1000, and 1200, right? So it goes 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and then finally 1400 times. And so what that means is an ultimate form at 6 stars is 14 times, whereas a 1 star is 4 times more damage. That means it's about 10 times more in damage boost. Okay, and that just so happens to coincide with when we move from Generation 2 to Generation 3 with Empowerment. There was a 10 times affinity bonus versus 2 times affinity bonus. And so we're going to see each Ultimate Heroes that we forge to have a massive power spike compared to what we're used to. And so the things that make me concerned are the boss health levels. What happens if we don't have a 6-star Ultimate form? Are the other heroes going to have increased killer bonus? Because what that means is anybody who has a 6-star ultimate hero is going to need much bigger bosses in order to take them down. And so that's the concern I have. The first concern I have. The second concern I have is that there was an assumption that we all chased after 6 ultra rare and master collection heroes just to build a full deck, when that is just absolutely not true. Most of us focus on getting one ultimate form through a single ultra rare and a single master collection card, and we sort of have to do with the deck around that. And we also try to get our shiny master collection card, because the master collection cards really ultimately is what helps fit into the deck builds, because the event cards have historically been extremely lackluster, and so putting an event card into the deck just wasn't quite as good as having a master collection card. Now that it's going to go away, the event card is going to have to be that much more powerful. And I hope it does. I hope it becomes a much more powerful card rather than just a weaker version of Master Collection card. So I would hope that event cards moving forward is going to be closer to what a Master Collection card can do for you, in that it's going to generate Power Gem 2s and 3s. If it doesn't at least do that, then I don't know where the deck building is going to come from. If it's going to, because if it's only going to come from the Ultimate Hero, then it will continue to be a Ultimate form or nothing. Right? And so that's the first concern I have. And the second thing is, if we want to have more deck building, really what we're saying is here is an event card that provides some specific purpose. The support card that'll give you more, more of the battle skill, the skill points, and you have the ultra rare card that's going to probably make the entire team stronger. But when we talk about deck building, we're really talking about building across decks. We're not talking about just individual decks for that particular event. And so there's not enough information about how this is going to work out. So I'm still looking for more information here. But what I do know is that this will break the way that we are used to building our teams. We're no longer going to have multiple Master Collection cards in the deck anymore. And we can only collect the current cards for the current event. That means no more getting the past event decks anymore. And that is extremely disappointing from my perspective, because that was one of the best things about the recent changes, and as the ability to get historical Generation 3 heroes just from the previous event. Because if you missed it, there's still opportunities for you to restart and try again. So because it's not going to happen anymore, that is disappointing on my side. And so right now, I feel that there is the risk of a complete power spike and devaluing our previous Ultimate Heroes that I wish that I hope that they're addressing. So again, without more information here, I can only go by what's in the newsfeed, but they are having an AMA on Monday. So I will definitely wait to see what they talk about. And I'm sure this question will be brought up, and I want to hear what they have to say about what they're going to do with the ultimate forms that we did work really hard to collect. And other things that they've mentioned. So relics. A good warrior is nothing without their weapon of choice, and we want to make sure you're equipped with only the best to tide Corellis through this dark period. There will only be one relic per event, and this relic can be directly forged into a 6-star ultimate event relic, also limited to 1 per event. The recipe for this will require a rare relic evolution material, as well as the strength of 3 other relics that can be found in Corellis. So this is a little cryptic, and I don't like this type of messaging because it's not clear on what those 3 other relics really are. But what I do get from this is that we're going to have now only 1 relic for each event. And I don't know whether when you forge into an ultimate event relic that you lose it, so it becomes just 1 ultimate event relic, or you're going to have technically 2 relics for the event, 1 ultimate, 1 regular. But what I do know is this. New players generally don't have access to relics, and relics is really what makes or breaks a team in the beginning, right? So if you don't have enough relics, you're not going to have enough gems, and you're not going to be able to power your teams. And so having just 2 relics here, and if you don't have access to any of the previous relics as a new player, it's going to be much more difficult. And so I'm not sure why there's a decision to reduce the number of relics, but I could understand that it definitely made the pack opening experience really bad because there's only enough slot for 5. And each of the vault packs allowed you to buy upwards to 10 relics or even more because they wanted you to be able to do 6-star ultimate relics. And so what that means is I've had this experience where I would pull into a vault pack multiple tiers and get nothing but relics. And it becomes useless to me because I can't actually upgrade. And so I can totally understand that perspective. What I can't understand is having limiting it just only one relic, but requiring additional evolution materials and 3 other relics to forge it into the ultimate event relic. Like, what does that actually mean? Does that mean sacrificing our Generation 2 relics, or does that mean sacrificing the basic relic? If we're only going to be able to get 1, then where are these other 3 going to come from? If it's going to require us to sacrifice ones that we've previously obtained, then I don't know if it's going to be something that will be perceived as a positive. So I think that in terms of the relics here, my concern is more on people who don't have access to previous relics, and also for so that's sort of the negative, and also the part where I don't know about the other relics that they're referring to. But in terms of, hey, it does mean that we no longer need to worry about filling our slots with additional relics, because you don't have to go after them anymore, because you know there is no more than one relic, right? So that at least is a good thing, in that there's not that carrot anymore for you to feel the need to have multiple relics. Because if you think about it, the current system encourages you to buy as many relics as possible, which can get very costly. So that is going to improve on that. The other question is, what happens to the pass, the seasonal passes that guarantees you a rare relic every event, for every event. I'm sure that's going to go away, but they don't have information about that. So let's keep going. Killer skills mean more. All event heroes will possess killer skills, and some killer and edge skills have also been increased. Some event relic skills target heroes based on killer type and will follow the new forging conventions. So this isn't quite that much more different than how things are in the last couple of events, where the killer skills are are found across all the units, but the ultimate form is still going to be the one that will basically boost the entire team. And therefore you're going to still like, if you have the ultimate form, then it doesn't really matter, and if you don't, then the killer skills are going to make it stronger than the previous cards. And so that is also something that you have to think about. Eventually, though, as you go through, like, I don't know how this makes a difference, because eventually, if you think about it, it's all going to just normalize. Like, everybody's going to have cards that will have killer skills, and so but if they are, but if their killer skill is still at like the 200%, like they are today, it doesn't compete against an ultimate form that can give you 14 times bonus. And so the gap is still there. If nothing else, the gap is going to be bigger. And so it's really going to come down to what the increase is going to be and how that is going to close the gap. My interest is in more about closing the gap as opposed to increasing it. And so without more information, I don't want to guess what it's going to be, but just based on my knowledge and my reaction right now, is my concern is on that part. And so I'm hoping to hear more about it, but this could be something to think about, and that is, what if you don't ever go for an ultimate form? What is going to be the impact for your ability to compete in events? That is the big question. But this is something that's interesting. So killer intensity. Skill points are being replaced with a classic intensity system. Intensity has no limits, will be linked to killer types, and can be increased as long as you can stay alive. Killer intensity generation skills can be on every event and ultimate event relic, as well as some heroes during the event. And so what that means is, if we really go back to the intensity system, that means it doesn't matter whether you attack or not, intensity will increase by 5 for every relic that you have in the slots. So you don't have to attack anymore. And one of the things about the current system is that each current event relic that you have will give you only 1 skill point for every card that is of that type in your team. So if you had all 5 Slayers, you'll get 5 Slayer skill points. But if you only have 4 Slayers, you're only going to generate 4. And with the intensity system back in the day, that wasn't a problem. So that actually will increase the deck building exercise a little bit. But what I don't want is, I don't want the intensity to be tied to the type again. I want the intensity system now to be tied to the way it is for the current relic, and that is the affinity, right? Any fire Slayer or any fire commander, for example, will benefit from it, is what made this relic system work really well. I really like that system. But if we're going to go back to intensity system, and then we're going to go back to only types, like, only corrupt heroes can generate intensity, then that is just going to be back to the way that it used to be, and that actually wasn't a great system. But what this does mean is that any nuke cards now, if the intensity is uncapped, now we'll have a huge potential for any of the big bosses that we'll face in the future. And really anything that is intensity based will see a lot more utility, whereas before, nukes had just no place in these decks because of the limit that we've put on it with a 300 skill points. And so that means nukes are definitely going to see the biggest change. And the other one's really, it used to be the power generation ability, kind of like what you saw with the Halloween cards now. With intensity skill points, I think that it's not going to make too much of a difference compared to what we're used to seeing because we're still going to get a full board of power gems. So I think what we're going to see now is going to be more about the power boost that is based on intensity. At least that is my guess. It is going to be, it is an interesting change, so I don't have a problem with this. I'm just hoping that they don't make it to limit based on the deck, the class of the cards, because that's actually more limiting than anything else. And here are some more. The Vault. To help you achieve all of the above, we are saying goodbye to the Vault and bringing packs back. We want you to have fun making progress on your deck just by playing the event, and to be able to choose which part of your deck you want to focus on. Event packs will return, and main, ultra, and relic packs will be released on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, respectively. I will say that I am not a huge fan of the pack system because it basically was a guaranteed 3,000 gems that you needed to spend just to get a single support card and a relic. Actually, it was a guaranteed 2,000 gems that you had to spend to get the relic and the support card. And back then, I never advocated for going after the main pack because it was just, there was no guarantee until later on. It was like tier 4 or tier 5 for a guaranteed main hero, and that just wasn't useful enough. And so without a Master Collection card in there, I don't know what the incentive is anymore to get the main card, because I would want to try to get the main card in the trophy collection rather than trying to go deep into the main pack. But, and also what this means is, it's going to be, there is no way for me to earn an ultra rare card if I were to open up the main pack or the relic pack. So the other part of it that isn't good is that it's going to cost more in terms of gems. If they keep the gems, if they keep the pack tiers the same, the gems, the cost is going to go up compared to the current system. The current system, I usually go up to tier 4, tier 3, or tier 4, and that translates to about 2,400 gems to 3,900 gems. Less than 4,000 gems for guaranteed 2 relics, a event card, and a guaranteed support card with a chance for Master Collection card or ultra rare card. With this system, it's, if I wanted the same thing, then it's going to be guaranteed 2,000 gems just for the relic and the the support card, and then whatever tier cost is going to be to get the main, and with very little chance of getting the ultra rare card. So it feels like it's going to be more expensive. And so I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this, but I can see the other side of it, and that is a lot of people who are short on the ultra rare card are not going to want to open relic packs and main packs. They just want to open up the ultra rare cards. But I will say this, and here's where, after having read through the newsfeed and looking at what's here, there's only one relic. So what is the point of having a relic pack that we're going to go deep in? If there's only one relic, right? If I get that one relic, I guess the incentive is to try and go after the ultimate relic. But honestly, if I can get one relic, and if I needed, and all I need is the ultra rare card, I don't see the reason to separate them, because I'm not chasing after multiple relics. I'm not chasing after multiple ultra rares. I am picking just I'm hoping to get one event card, one ultra rare, because that's all you need. You just need one of these cards to make the master, to make the ultimate form. And so splitting it into multiple packs actually doesn't make sense to me. This is the one area where I think I need to give more feedback, and I need to talk about this more. But to me right now, based on what I know, it's not something I feel is a good change. I actually like the vault system to an extent, and this, because there's limited number of cards you're getting, it doesn't seem to be as valuable to me. So I'll have to wait and see. Again, AMA is going to be on Monday. We'll hear about that. They're also changing the events. So event updates, Crusade and Slayer events will be overhauled to provide different gameplay experiences, while the Prestige system will be retired. Event quests will become event collections and use event trophies, and their rewards will be condensed. Evolution material rewards will also be updated. Crusade updates. Crusade will now have 3 maps, which unlock in order. And then the Overkill, Ultra Kill, Legends, Secret, and Punisher bosses will no longer appear. Solo and guild bosses will remain, and new challengers will replace the legends. So they're overhauling the Slayer and Crusader events, but really they're kind of just reverting it back to the way it was, where we didn't have prestige. And back then, without prestige, it was actually manageable for people who don't have event decks, because you could compete just by slaying more cards and not have to worry about prestiging with your event deck just to compete at a higher level. So that is one good thing, but they're taking away everything. They're taking away secrets. They're taking away Punisher. So I guess, in a lot of ways, people didn't like all of these changes for Crusaders. And so for me, I think I'm sort of in the middle here. I think either both of those Crusader events have been okay. The big gripe I have with Crusaders now is the prestige, though. So I'm kind of happy about the prestige going away, because that felt like it's what made Crusaders a much more sort of that stressful type event, where you had to prestige in order to collect items, and you had to prestige in order to not fall below your placement. And so that's actually a good change for me. And a lot of people like the 3 map system, and I kind of got used to the current system, so going back to it will be fine for me. I think it's something that I never really had a big issue with, so I'm not concerned about that. It's going to be interesting about the event quest. The whole thing about the quest trophies is that it gave us more items, but now the rewards are going to be condensed, and so this is going to go back to the way it used to be, where we had to slay and get. If it's going to be trophy based, that means we're going to have to go after the bigger bosses in order to get higher trophies and in order to hit our threshold. And I feel like, with the events, it allowed us to focus on different things and still get rewards. And so overall, this is something that I'm not sure on how it's going to work out. Like, rewards are something that we've always talked about. We need better rewards, but do we need less rewards? I think we need better and more rewards, right? And so what is my feeling about all of this? I feel that overall the changes are not something that I feel is, I don't know how well it's going to actually work out for the average players. I hope that it's going to work out in that, hey, we only need an ultra rare card. That's all. There's only going to be one in the deck, and we only need one event card, and we could then forge the ultimate hero, and it's going to be super powerful. But the sort of potential cost there could be high. So my thing, me, my perspective has always been on how we can make it so that you don't feel the pressure to spend in order to be competitive. Right now, from what I'm seeing, there isn't quite enough details to tell me otherwise, but it feels like it's going to be more expensive from the gems perspective. And it's going to be reverted back to the way it was. And so if that's the case, then basically all of the generation 3 sort of changes that we've seen are going to be reverted, and that could be a big shock for a lot of players, and a lot of new changes, a lot of just getting used to. But the number one thing for me will always be these two. The first one is how effective can a free to play player, or somebody who doesn't generally spend, how can we compete, right? I have VIP, but I'm not a big spender per se. And so how would I, or somebody who doesn't spend at all, be able to be able to actually compete from a event to event perspective? And well, I guess there's 3 things. The second thing is we've spent a lot of time collecting our event dust. I saved all of my fire dust for this event, for example, to use it for the next Fire Slayer or Commander event. And what happens to them? If they're gone, then I think that's going to be a problem. But they haven't mentioned anything here, so I'm remaining hopeful that the dust that we have saved can be used to purchase these heroes for the upcoming events. Like, we need to make them useful. Like, if we save them, they're ours. We need to be able to use them, and we need to make them useful for the actual cards that are going to be available. And I'm looking forward to hearing that. Again, not enough details right now, but I know this is one of the biggest points, and this is going to be the biggest feedback I can give to the dev team, and that is, don't take the dust away without making it possible for us to use them against to forge our heroes. If we've put the effort to saving them, we need to feel rewarded for it, for any changes that come in. And the third thing is going to be the feeling of sort of loss of your investment on the previous cards due to the change to our Ultimate Hero as 6 stars. So something needs to be done. My recommendation would be to just level everything. Make all of our previous Ultimate Heroes as 6 stars too. So let it compete at the same playing field, so that we don't feel like all of the effort we put into the the previous Ultimate Heroes, I don't want to make them feel wasted. They're supposed to be our forever decks. We could still do that. It could still be the promise to make our decks be forever decks can still be met with some simple tweaks that allow us to continue to feel like our investments and our time spent is valued. So these are the 3 things that I would like to make sure that we cover and talk about. And so comment down below in the video, let me know what your thoughts are, and I'm gonna give updates once we have more information on the AMA about what the details are actually going to be. So thanks a lot for listening and for for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully this has been helpful, and look forward to seeing you guys in the upcoming videos or upcoming streams, and then we will chat more then. So until then, I'll see you next time. Take care.